Hello guys, welcome back. This is just a very quick video to explain why I love wild strawberries. Basically they taste better than anything you can buy in the shops, and so far they've tasted better than anything else that I've grown. I've grown about 6 or 7 different varieties this year. They've all tasted a bit watery, even though they've just been watered with, you know, perfectly nutritious water, no mains water, none of that. These little fellas produce more fruit. They taste better. We're in the northeast of England, and these are going to go from the middle of June, which was about 3 weeks ago, and they'll go all the way through to the first frosts, and they'll produce masses and masses of fruit. Which once you start eating, you just can't stop. The taste so much better than cultivated varieties. But you've got to get them when they're almost ready to drop off. I mean, that there, it looks like it's just going past its best, but that's when they've got the most flavour. It tastes absolutely amazing. Whereas you've got one there which you'd think was ready, but it's still got a little bit of yellow on it. That one, same plant, hasn't got half the flavour. You've got to get them when they're almost purple. Oop. There's the flavour. They just seem to develop the flavour at the last minute. Now these go exceptionally well in smoothies. Ordinary strawberries don't add that strawberry taste to smoothies, they're just kind of These add a real punch. But in our garden, they're lucky if they actually leave the garden and make it into a smoothie, because every day there's enough just off a few plants to gorge yourself. And they are a lot smaller than cultivated varieties, but the taste more than makes up for it. So you've got a couple there that are just ready to drop off, and another couple as well. You always seem to get them in pairs, just ready to drop off. Absolutely perfect. And those ones we've just been having a look at are grown in really favourable conditions. So the plant itself gets pretty big and it just gets a ridiculous amount of fruit on. When they're in not so favourable conditions, like these little stackable pots that I just water now and again when I think these fellas look a little bit desperate, these ones produce smaller fruit, but because the plant itself isn't as happy, I suppose, the fruit is even better. It just seems like the harsher conditions seem to bring out way more taste. And even those tiny little fruit, they just taste like the sweetest, I don't know, it's hard to describe it. If you think of like Spangles, Jolly Ranchers, I'm not sure what you guys in the US would have, some sort of like hard candy that just had far too much flavour, and that's what these taste like, you know. They really are that good, and they grow so quick as well. And in the UK they're just all over, you know. You can go any hedge back, you can go on any roadside, and you will find these little plants. I'll give you a close-up of what they look like when they're small, and all you've got to do is just dig a few of them up, bring them home, and they go berserk. And in a moment I'll show you just how berserk they go. So that's them. Just like an ordinary strawberry, but smaller. Wow. Gideon. And they just produce dozens of little runners. Very fine. But every one of these has new plants on. Now about 4 months ago my brother gave me some of these small runners, and I planted them in here. They've already produced full-size plants, a nation of wonderful taste and fruit. at that, man, that is nature's perfection. And it's just a nation of fruit. And as I say, they'll produce that until the first frosts. Absolutely incredible plant. I actually added this extra bit of garden here, using a couple of knackered sleepers, just to catch the runners that were coming off the plants. And everything in here is just new growth. It takes them no time at all to produce their fruit. Look at that, man. You could go around and you could just pick a huge bowl full from minimal area. And the really curious thing is that unlike the cultivated varieties of strawberries, like these ones, the wild strawberries don't seem to be bothered by the crows. We've got a family of carrion crows that lives in my wood. And I actually encourage them to be there because they keep the heron off the pond, which in turn saves my fish. But unfortunately, the crows being crows, they do take liberties. And these plants are just at a handy height for them just to walk up and start pecking away at. They've bothered these ones no end. I mean, I cannot remember having a mature strawberry off here. They just get hammered. Actually, there we go. There's one. That's what I'm on about. They just peck away at them. They haven't eaten one of the wild strawberries. They just seem to leave them. So I may move these to another location and plant wild strawberries along here. These are ones that have been fannied about with, crossbred, probably modified somewhere along the way. They're nowhere near as good. You know, they look beautiful sometimes, they're big, the colours are marvellous, but the taste isn't there. And if the taste isn't there and the natural origin of them isn't there, then the nutrition probably isn't there, and the value that you get from them definitely won't be there. So here we've got some of the cultivated varieties from behind me. What type are they? Cambridge favourite. The people in Cambridge mustn't have very high standards for their fruit, because not one of those had any sort of taste. Give me one wild strawberry over 50 cultivated strawberries. So that's why I love wild strawberries, and also that is why next year I think all my strawberries will be wild strawberries, also known as Alpine strawberries. I don't know what you call them in the US, you guys. I'm sure you'll have an equivalent, but in the UK, wild strawberries or Alpine strawberries, absolutely brilliant things. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.